Hello class, we're going to go over some of our review from yesterday in preparation for tomorrow's test. A lot of these questions might look familiar. Some of them are very similar to other questions that we've done throughout the benchmarks and the units. Today we're going to start by looking at question number 3 of combining like terms. Remember, numbers can only go together if they have the same number-letter combination. As we look at this one, we see numbers and letters with Y's and numbers and letters with no Y's. So the yellows are wearing the same jersey and they can go with yellows. The light blues are wearing the same jersey and they can go with the light blues. Now the next thing that it's important to remember is how you type it into your calculator. On most calculators, when you type -3, you type it how you see it. Not with the minus sign, but the negative, down by the decimal point. On my calculator, it's right here. On some calculators and on some phones, you have to type the number 3 before the minus. It's important you know which way to do this before you get into the test. So if I were you right now, I'd take out your calculator and do this one with me to make sure your calculator generates the same answer as the correct one that we're going to go over. I'm going to start by typing in -3 plus 7. When I do that, I should get a +4. The y comes down with it. And then I have a +11, but I don't have to type the plus sign. The calculator already knows when it's positive. Now, when I type the minus, it's going to be -6. Sometimes we call it -6. But when I enter it in like this, I'm going to use a minus sign. So it's 11 minus 6. It's going to give me a positive answer. So it's plus here. And that answer is 5. Can I put Y's with no Y's? No, they're on different teams. They can be on the same basketball court, but they can't be on the same team because they have different jerseys on. So I'm going to circle it with a heart to set my work apart. I'm going to scroll down here to number 7. This is one I would definitely use your marker boards for, and refer back to your notes if you saw this on the quiz or on a test to make sure that you're moving things appropriately. Remember that K's and the symbol in front of the K, like the plus sign here, move with that number, just like your hair moves with you when you're moving across the room. The symbol in front of the 5 moves with the 5. In front of the 8 moves with the 8. There's no symbol in front of the 9, so like your calculator, we're going to assume that's positive. When I rearrange these, I'll put a 4K out. So I've rearranged it, so I brought down the 4K, and I brought down the positive 13K. And then behind it, I'm going to put the numbers that go together. And the positive 9, the -8, and the positive 5. Because there's the 9 here and the 13K there, I do need to represent the plus sign because 9 is positive here. So that's an example of when you do actually need to write in the plus to show there's a separation between these two terms. When I combine things, 4 plus 13 is going to give me, that's right, 17K. And 9 minus 8 gives me 1 plus 5 gives me +6. Let's move on to number 9. Now in number 9, notice that there is no number in front of the K, but there is a 2 there. So I'm going to assume that this means there's 2 Ks. With no number there, I'm going to assume that it's 1 K. So I'm just going to write that in to keep that in my mind. And I'm going to do the K's in pink this time. And I'm going to do the non-K's in blue. I circle the negative with the 16 because it's -16. And I circle the positive with the 12 because it's +12. But when I rearrange them, down the 1K and the +2K, I bring down the 12 and the -16. Since 12 is positive, I'm going to put a plus in there. When I type it into my calculator, it's 1 plus 2, 3 with the K, And when I type this one in, I don't need that addition sign because my calculator already knows that 12 is positive. So it's 12 minus 16. 12 minus 16, there's no more minuses than there are positives. So my answer is going to be negative. So put a minus there. 4. 12 minus 16 is negative 4. When I type it, I write minus 4. On the second page, we're going to skip to distribution. I'm going to start with number 12. Number 12 is like number 11, although this time instead of multiplying by a negative 8, I have a positive 9. I don't need to type the plus because my calculator already knows that if I don't type a plus, that the 9 is positive. But I need to use my rainbow or Hail Mary pass to share the 9 with the 6, so that's 9 again, times 6. I also have to share the 9 here with the negative 3g. So I'm going to use my dolphin jump and type 9 times negative 3. I multiply 9 times 6, I get 54. 9 times negative 3, because that negative sign goes with the 3, I get negative 27. And the g comes along for the ride. Can I put 54 with a 27g? No, they're on different teams. I've got the G team and the non-G team. I do need to bring down the 3 though, and that's in the blue uniform, so that could go with the 54. It does not go with the 27 because it's not a G. 54 plus 3, it's 57. Now, since 27g goes with the minus symbol, you got to remember to bring the minus down. And the 27 and the g. These cannot go together. They're on two different teams. So I'm going to circle this answer with a heart to set my work apart. Let's look at 13. All right, class. In number 13, notice that it's just not a 4, it's a negative 4. Sometimes we see it as a minus, and there might be a number with a letter out here. This time it's a negative, but either way, it doesn't matter which way it is. As long as there's a minus or a negative in front of the 4, it belongs to the 4. So I'm going to highlight that in blue. And we're going to do our first Hail Mary pass to the 3. So it's negative 4 times 3. Show my work over here. You're going to show it on your marker board. Miss Hoffman and I need to show our work all the time, so we'd expect that you would as well, just to make sure that you get it correct. Then we're going to take the negative 4, and we're going to share it this time with this group of numbers. But since there's a symbol out in front of the 5, I'm going to circle that, so it's negative 4 this time, times a negative 5. Z comes along with the 5 for a ride. Order operations say do my multiplication first before I do anything with the 7. So I'm going to start back over here at the negative 4 times 3. And I'm going to get negative 12. And then I'm going to move her over here to negative 4 times 5 using my calculator, making sure that I hit the negative symbol and not the minus symbol when I'm doing these. So again, negative 4 with that symbol. And negative 5 gives me a positive 20 this time. So when I put those together, Z, when I put those together, it's negative 12. Positive means a plus 20. I cannot put Z's with no Z's, but I could take this 7, and that could go with the 12, so I'm going to move it over here. It's positive, so I type it in 7 minus 12, or you could type in negative 12 plus 7. As long as the minus sign goes with the 12, you're good. That gives us an answer of what? Negative 5. And then how many Z's? 20 Z's. They're on different teams, so they can't go together. Let's look down towards the bottom. Actually, before we do that, I'm going to quickly talk about number 14 without doing the whole problem. We're going to highlight what can go together. We've got a's, and then we have a squareds. Can a's go with a squareds? No. The a squared is different. We're in a different uniform. So this is going to actually have three terms. There's going to be a squareds, there's going to be a's, and there's going to be numbers. It's okay to have a three-part answer like we did for 14. We're going to skip down here and talk about number 17. Now number 17 is done incorrectly over here. So we're going to cross off this answer and we're going to do the problem correctly to see what might have gone wrong. Here I see an A, and here I see an A, and here I see a minus 5A. 10 and 6 is 16, minus 5 is 11A, and negative 4 and positive 8 is going to give me 4, but since there's more positives than negatives, it's a plus 4. When I look at my answer, I see they got negative 21A, and I got positive 11A. I wonder if they put 10 and 6 together and got 11, and then added the 5 to it. That's what I think they did wrong. So I circle my answer, and I would say something like, they did not move the negative sign with the 5A. All right, I hope you're ready for tomorrow's test. Remember, you can go back and watch any of your videos. Make sure you use a calculator and a marker board and work out each problem before you answer.